This episode of Plasticon Reviews is brought to you by Dark Dominion. Check them out for all your 3D printing needs. Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover a upgrade kit. Yes, an amazing upgrade kit. This kit was actually found on 3D Cults. They actually have plenty of little add-on doodads you can do, and this is to make Core Class Optimus Prime into Powermaster Optimus Prime. This core class design is very, very neat. Now, I know some people are probably thinking, why is this trailer black? This, that, and the other. I am a Generation 2 guy, so I happen to really like G2. That's why I opt out for a black trailer. Now, on 3D Cults, I also sourced one of these little axes. I'll show you how that goes in his hand here in a minute. But I did want to show you guys the truck mode first. Truck mode's very, very cool. It does not actually have any rolling wheels in the back, so this is all paint. And I did paint the striping here on the side. When you get these printed, you can kind of print them in any colors you want. I did mine in two different colors. I did mine obviously in a red and a black. But it does hold and peg on pretty good. The cab doesn't really turn in this design, although you can bring the trailer out a little bit to simulate a turn if you really wanted to. But that's just me. I mean, you can kind of do what you want here, but I mean, it does still hold on there pretty well. I do like this about this entire trailer add-on kit. Like I said, it is an add-on kit, so it's not like a standard 3D, or not 3D, but a third-party type of thing. I actually prefer this better because I don't have to deal with like crazy shipping and all that stuff. So, you know, got a good friend of mine in Dark Dominion, Matt. He hooked me up and helped me out. That's very cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and get Prime off of here. This doesn't actually have any kind of kickstand or anything like that. I think you can actually take the smokestacks and bring them down a little bit, because they do happen to, little blasters, they do kind of stick down a little bit, but it doesn't really hold it very well like this. It's just, like I said, this is a 3D printed item, so it is a little different than a lot of your standard injection mold things. So, but anyway, we'll look at this trailer here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and quickly transform Prime here. I'll back this up here a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But I primarily, you just transform Prime like you normally would. And this is to use the energon axe real quick. I wanted to show you guys that before to actually showing you the full-on add-on kit, just to show you how the axe works in his hand as well. And if you guys have ever had a Core Class Optimus Prime, they're pretty nice. These are by far probably my favorite Optimus Primes that they've come out with, honestly, because I like the smaller stuff. I'm really into this. Just head here to pop up, and then obviously fix his arms here, and then this out. Now, to put the axe on, you leave his fist closed because it's got the hole right here, and then you'll just peg the axe in just like so, and it works pretty well. Don't mind the looseness, that's just how these primes are. Sometimes they're a little loose in their arms. But it works very, very well. I think it's pretty amazing. It looks very good in his hand too. And obviously his gun here, I actually have pegged here into the top, and I'll explain this whole top piece here to you when I actually get to that part, because this is something I actually had to add on myself just to show you how that works. But you can obviously, put his little gun in his hand. So there you go. Yeah, the standard Optimus Prime with his axe and his gun, pew pew, hack hack, all that kind of thing. Because that's what we do on this channel. Alright, so let's go ahead and convert him over to what would be his combine mode. So you'll flip the legs completely around. I turned him all the way around just like so. And then you will flip the cab back pretty much like you're going to basically try to put him back into his normal truck mode, except for I have flipped these backward like this on purpose, because this is going to form the back of Prime whenever he's inserted into the trailer itself. Now as for the arms you bring them up like this, and then you will position them like that. So bring this up like this, and then position it down like this. And you do want the hands collapsed for this. And then these right here, you'll just take his legs and fold them up just like this. So it kind of almost does the original Powermaster Prime gimmick, where you'll fold him up as if you're just going to insert him. Now these right here do have to remain out for the rest of the transformation part. I'm going to set that aside so that way we can look at the trailer here. And the trailer, like I said, has been printed off. It's all 3D printed, so it has a bit of parts forming, not a whole lot, but you can see he's got his head just kind of chilling down there. And the head actually fits between the legs here, so it fits in better when I've got it pegged in there. But when I got this, I built it, and the original plans does not have any of this top piece here. This is something I decided to take upon myself and build a, I used electrical tape and a couple pieces of cardboard and built it so that way he actually has the roof flaps. So the roof flaps will just kind of fold back. Now these are not on the actual 3D print. This is something I added on. This is just my own choice. You don't have to do it that way. As for the rest, you'll take the head here and you'll separate the legs a little bit. Turn this thing sideways, and it's got a bit of a little thing that actually just pegs in between the legs here. And then you'll take the two sides like you would on a normal Powermaster Optimus Prime and fold these down just like so. Now these guns remain attached on mine. Now when I did get these, I did look at them, and they do have a slight little slot that's supposed to attach to this peg here. I couldn't get that to work, but that's just mine. Your mileage may vary. You may be better at the fixing of 3D printing type of things than I am, so that's just something I was like, you know what, I'll just leave them attached here. And these are attached on posts, so they do move up and down. If you do want to, you can spread this out a little bit. You can kind of fudge, I guess, a base mode out of this if you really wanted to. I decided to use screws versus actual pins because I like to be able to tighten my toys up if they do get loose. But these only go out so far. You really can't give him that full fold out situation. But one thing you can do, I mean, you can just have him as like a defense tower if you want to, and then just flip these things forward like that, and then you could do like a defense tower piece or something like that. And you can leave all this like folded up like this if you really wanted to create a base of operations kind of mode. This is without these folded up because these obviously were, like I said, I added those on. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. If the print itself had 2 of these, and one of them fits tighter than the other one, so I used the looser one because I don't want to screw up the head sculpt on him. So anyway, all that aside, that's kind of a thing you can do with it base mode wise. I mean, honestly, to me, this is just trailer and power up mode, really. But anyway, you flip these here back a little bit. You don't have to, you got this slot here, but you're not really going to fill the entire slot with the entire prime. It just doesn't fit completely in. It's got enough room if you really wanted to shove it in all the way you can. But these right here are attached by little tiny posts. But, the centerpiece here, you take these out, and these are 2 little separate bits. Now whenever you get these, you got little posts that you put in here, and these are the same size posts that are in these parts here, right here. So, and these are all separate pieces, so whenever you print it, or if you get someone else to print it, that's just how that works. So you'll take the prime, and he will snugly fit right in, just like that, which is kind of cool. I mean, you really don't want to try to shove it too hard, because if you do, you risk breaking it. I do know it's got these little bits here that are hanging out, but these are hanging out because these are what helps attach him to truck mode. So, and then, I'll raise this camera up here a little bit. He's a little tall. And then you'll take these, and like I said, these are not painted. This is all one big red piece, but you paint these to paint the fists, and they will attach to the existing holes where the axe will attach, like I showed you. The axe is a separate 3D print, by the way, guys. That does not come with this kit. There are those out there that you can find that do work the same way. And then you'll attach this, which gives you another arm. And then you'll take the headpiece and just plop it there on top, just like so. And there you go. You have Powermaster Optimus Prime. And he can successfully still hold the original blaster it comes with, so you can hold that. Like I said, these guns here do not attach to the hands. These would only be attached to the shoulder bits right here if you did it that way. I personally had an issue trying to do that, but that's mine. This is not any fault of Dark Dominion's print or anything. That is just my own skills not being the greatest. Another thing, like I said, he's got, this kind of gives him elbows, and you got all these articulation here. The head does turn, so it does turn with the Prime's head, which is cool. And then you can, splay these out. He does have kind of a knee joint, which is cool. He does happen to have like 2 joints here, so I mean, you can bend it a little bit more if you want to. If you decide to shave it out or something like that, it would be fine. But like I said, it's not bad. It's actually a pretty cool kit. I've always wanted an actual Powermaster Optimus Prime that was this size. Oops. And that's just me being clumsy, because I am clumsy. They fit in just fine. I was just being silly. Like I said, very cool. I think it's neat. Now, to kind of compare him to a previous Prime that I made, here he is next to my undersized Motormaster that I decided to try to make as a G1 Optimus Prime that does not power up. it's okay. I might actually have other plans for this guy here in the future, considering I made a different trailer for him too. But, I don't know. I might not. I might just leave it and say this is Prime and this is Powermaster Optimus Prime. So, let's move him out of the way. And here he is next to our reflector bot. And next to Merman. Because he's a moron. He needs to get out of here. Anyway. It's a very, very cool little upgrade kit. I personally think it's probably one of the best upgrade kits I've seen out there for core class Optimus Prime. I do know that there's G1-ish trailers out there you can get. There's two different styles. I know one of them actually has a roller and you got like a little thing you can push and it shoots the little roller out, stuff like that. But honestly, this is not a bad piece of kit. It's very, very cool. I'm really digging this. These silly, the legs not being 100% straight is kind of my fault. Because when I put it together, I had a slight issue with one of the screws kind of going sideways, but that's just me. But he does stand very straight, just like I like my my toys anyway. I don't really play with a whole lot of articulation with my toys, but I like my stuff that, you know, look cool on a shelf. And what's neat about this is, you know, if you move these forward, the smokestacks themselves will kind of stop it to keep it from moving down any further. But you know, it's got some pretty cool posing, and it looks nice. I did have to paint the belt, and I painted the two matching windows there on the sides. That way it kind of matched the rest of Prime. I did have to paint the head. The head I had was printed in red because I wanted to have the red eyes. It's much easier to do it that way than it is paint the whole thing blue and then just kind of go through and do the eyes. I thought this was a lot easier. Very cool. I think it's neat. And I did use a little bit of a metallic color, so it kind of breaks him up a little bit. I did add the blue to the feet, as well as a little bit of silver here. This is raised detail. So, and it's got pretty decent detail. I mean, if you look at the arms have quite a bit of detail on them too. So, I mean, it's not like it's just a brick. And if you look at the hands have got like nice sculpting detail on them too. So it's not a terrible little upgrade kit. It works very, very well. And I saw a few people out there posting, you know, pictures of this on Reddit and such too, so I do kind of pay attention to that, and I thought it was really neat, and I wanted to share this with you. I did have to put little metal pins through here for the sides of the trailer to flip down. Kind of the same thing with the, you know, this, like I said, this right here was just something I did. I did pop a hole through this, that way I can actually plug the his gun in. So if you look, he's very clean on the back. I mean, it is literally, kind of reminds me of a miniature version of the original toy. It is weird that he's got this post sticking out on the back. This being a 3D print, if you really wanted to, you can chop that entire post off and not even have the post sticking out. But I like the post on there because it helps me be able to store the head in its alt mode. It does not have opening feet like the bottom of it. Those do not open. Those are just solid. If you're any good at 3D printing and modeling and such, if you did download the file from 3D Cults, it would, you know, you can probably modify and make it so you can do that, but it'd be very small, and I have no idea what you would put in there. Maybe a place for the energon axe to fit. I mean, like I said, this energon axe was a completely different print. This was not from the same kit, so this is separate. And I wanted to show it off at the same time I show it off the Prime, because, you know, I personally think this is part of Prime at this point. It's kind of nice to have a little axe to put in his hand. And this right here will probably live more with the G1 trailer I made from the scratch built one that I did. But I did want to get this because this is pretty cool, and I think it's a nice little upgrade kit. And it allows me to be able to just expand Prime just a little bit more than just his standard block trailer that everybody is very familiar with. But anyway, it's been Plasticon. This has been a quick review of an awesome little 3D printed deal. And I'll see you guys around as I have plenty more coming your way. That's it for now. Bye!